Can't hear you. They said.
Oh, let's try that. Let's see this.
How's that now? Can you guys hear me now? Very low volume, low audio levels. Can't hear you. They said.
There we go. We got it.
All right. Okay. Listen. All right, sorry about that. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, to the Schmodown Entertainment Network, it is Kristian Harlow here from the Schmodown Entertainment Network. And if you see that I am happy, if you see that I am excited, if you see that I have a pep in my step, it's because the crew is back. No, it's because I don't have to engineer. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'm excited that you guys are back with us on the 22nd of June, Monday. The show is back. And joining me as always, the first person to get a shout out here today. It's the reason why we're here today, and that's RB3. Welcome back, Mr. Robert Butler III. How are you, sir?
I'm good, y'all. Thanks for having me. Sorry for the gaffe in the beginning. Right. Still working on fixing that stuff.
It's new. The sound effect machine is not going to be on, but Kate Mulligan will be, and that's her. Kate Mulligan, nice to have you. That's your nickname. God. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the manager of swag, and he is Winston. Drip Drip Marshall. What's up, man? How you doing?
I don't know if I could be called Drip Drip Marshall. That sounds like a walking STD, bro. I don't know about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Vegas, Winston Drip Drip
Marshall.
Hold your assholes, Marshall.
My God, I need a lot of penicillin for that.
For some reason, he decided to join us when he could be raising over $7 million on Twitch. He has been the Goddard.
Like a butterfly and stings like Winnie Peas.
And last and least, he is the main man, my man who's been keeping this show afloat with me for the last few months, Brett Sheridan. What's up?
Is my camera on now?
You're good. We're all back. We're all here. We're all excited, and this is something that I was talking. Winston, I thought you had a subtitle on. I didn't realize that was your shirt. So there you go. That's perfect. That's awesome. So there was conversation. Obviously, if you guys have been tuning in over the last couple of weeks, it's just been tough. Like this, whether we're trying to get people into the chat room or the Zoom, and the Schmobot was cutting out and all this crap. And I was like, I got to call RB3. So I called RB3 and I said, this is probably a question I should have asked you 2 months ago, but do you think you'd be able to run this remote? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. so that was it. All I had to do was ask, and here we are. That should have saved me a lot of. I would still be 10 pounds heavier if it wasn't for RB3 right now. So, okay, we have a lot to talk about, guys. There's a lot going on in movie news, and the first thing I actually this just got tweeted out that I'm pretty pumped about. We've talked about Cobra Kai. We're excited about Cobra Kai in general. Who's got their computer on? Turn it on. All right, sorry. Are you yelling at RB3?
Yeah, I was like,
man, is the reason that you all are here right now and you're yelling at this man? You're a dumb motherfucker. You've always been stupid, but now you don't yell at angels. You can do whatever the hell they want.
My bad. That was all my bad though. That was my bad.
But this is something cool. The William Zabka, obviously Johnny, he tweeted out that Cobra Kai, there's rumors that either going to Amazon or Netflix, but it's official. They're going to Netflix, which is great. Goddard, do you know, is there any news? I know this is kind of new. I don't know if you can look it up while you're looking at it. Is it just season 3, or are they going to be able to air seasons 1 and 2? Because to me, that's what I think is going to get more people hooked.
Yeah, and that's literally what I was going to say. It's like, okay, now I'll watch it if I don't have to, buy YouTube Red or Pro or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Well, yeah, take a look at that. And Winston, have you watched Cobra Kai yet? Have you seen any of that? No. So this is.
I am not paying for no more extra shit. But
you have Netflix though.
Netflix.
So if it's on Netflix, I'll watch it. But I'm not gonna pay. Like you said, I'm not paying for YouTube Red. What do I look like, a Gen Zer? Get the fuck out of here.
So along with exclusive rights to season 3 of Cobra Kai, Netflix will have access on a non-exclusive basis to the first 2 seasons of the show for fans to catch up.
Great.
Seasons 1 and 2 of the Karate Kid sequel series starring Ralph Macchio and William Zabka will premiere on Netflix this year with an all-new 3rd season to follow.
Fantastic. Nice. It's really smart because this is the same thing. Kate, have you seen this series yet? And will you out now watch it because it's on Netflix?
Honestly, I haven't watched anything since this pandemic started. And
that's like the opposite of everyone else.
I know. It's because we got a Nintendo Switch for the boys.
Yeah.
And
so
all I do is play a Nintendo Switch. That's all
Games
I
do you play?
I play Animal Crossing. I play Lego Harry Potter.
See, I got to get both of those for my daughter. She's got the Switch.
My God.
But Cobra Kai,
I'll invite her to my island.
You might as well. So yeah. Cobra Kai. This is, and Brett, we talked about this at length. This means you guys are going to catch up on this now.
Oh yeah.
Good, thanks, Brett. So RB3,
we back. Yeah.
RB3, are you going to be watching this?
It isn't filmed on film. It isn't a film. It's a movie.
Nobody sets RB3 off the way Brett does.
That's so exciting.
Oh man.
Have you watched it? Have you seen the Karate Kid series at all?
I did. I watched the pilot episode. I watched the first 2 episodes actually. I really enjoyed them. I actually think that I thought it was kind of groundbreaking to see it on YouTube. I think the deal happened because Will Smith was the producer on the remake for the Karate Kid, and Will Smith signed an exclusive deal with YouTube. So then it was like a big kind of celebrity trade. But I guess I don't know if Will Smith's YouTube deal is over, if the Karate Kid deal is over, or what's the plans with that. But I'm interested to see. I'd be curious to see if they do upload the first 2 seasons. I know that with other Netflix shows that they pick up, they usually do air the previous seasons as part of the package. So I wonder if that's going to be a part of the deal. I'm sure Netflix is willing to cut YouTube a big check, but I don't know if YouTube necessarily needs it because they're rolling in money too. So
well, they are, but they also don't want to do this original material anymore. So that's why they're dumping everything, and this is their biggest show because this is the biggest indication that they're not doing it because this is a hit show. This is the only really big hit show that they've ever had. So getting rid of it in Netflix. If you look at I use Waco when I saw Waco because it was on Paramount first like 2 years ago, and then it comes over, and then you came over and all these things come over. So they've done that before where they've had shows that have debuted at other places, and now they're going to air this new season. And now if this does as well as I think it will with season 4, and now Netflix is paying for it, you're going to see even bigger production with season 4 should it do as well as I think it might.
And I think a bigger part of the conversation comes in like what else is YouTube like planning on developing, right? Because now I think they're transitioning their focus to like live streaming and to music. So I think they've been making a lot of exclusive deals with music artists. They've been promoting a lot of live streaming because the super chats do super well for their revenue stream. So I think that's where they're putting more of their direction on, where YouTube is centrally focused on content. So
I agree.
Can I real quick? If we went back to RB3, is that a possibility? Does he have to talk? It looks like his microphone's just a droid that's hanging with him.
It really does. If you're watching on the YouTube channel. Sounds really good. So anyway, listen. So before we get into the next story, also let everybody know, we're really excited that the crew's going to be back starting today, but it's still a bit of a test because the reason why we had to, we were worried about being able to do this is because if you guys are able to do the donations, streamlabs.com/theschmodown or super chat, that allows us to be able to employ everybody back and have everybody back. The show is run through the donations here. So if you can, streamlabs.com/theschmodown. The Schmobot from starting today will not be on until 10:30. 10:30 is when it will start. But if you do put in a Schmobot and it already come through, RB3 is able to replay it later on. So if you did put one in already, you'll be able to replay it a little later on. So you guys,
if he doesn't replay it, Kristian will yell at him.
I'll yell at you. No, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Never going to happen.
Kristian's good about not yelling at you.
No.
Nah, yell at me. I'm his manager. I got this. Don't even worry about that shit, baby.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about
Marshall.
I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was. This morning I was thinking about all of the Schmodown competitors that have ever given me problems.
and I said, including managers, and I'm thinking, have I ever had a spat with? Oh yeah, definitely Roca. I'll Kanowski, 100%. And I'm going through. I came up with a name. RB3 doesn't count because RB3 is more SEN, but I came up with a name of one person that I have never had a spat with in the history of the Shmona. Can you guess who that person is?
Ben Goddard.
No, Goddard. Definitely. Goddard's a rookie, and I probably had more issues with him.
Were you around when my first teams match premiered?
No, absolutely, Goddard. Goddard is probably the top.
I think Rachel Cushing.
No, definitely had some Cushing. Ace is a little too.
Is Cody Hall?
You've had spats with Ace. Don't. You've had like.
but that's through. I'm talking about through Schmodown.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Schmodown specific.
Yeah.
No, the answer is Mark Riley. The answer is
wow.
He's been in the league
But
since
it sounds like you might be the problem here, Kristian, if you fall with everyone in the league.
Is that the case, or is it the fact of wants? But hey, how you doing? You have a nice Father's Day? No, I want to match with this person. Oh, okay. How about that? No, my entrance should be this. Wait, what? You can't use that music. Why? Oh, you know what? I want a mariachi band to come out with me. You want a what?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Exactly.
Man, I feel like that was definitely a dingleberry.
Oh my God! I have to get a mariachi band to play the swag theme. Holy shit!
Now we talking.
Yo,
I like that.
Yo, when Ace comes out for his match against Laura Kelly, we gotta have a fucking mariachi band playing the swag theme.
That's nice.
I opened up the floodgates. Anyway, I was thinking
one match. I don't remember talking to you before or after it.
It was so funny. It was my wife said this. She's like what did she say? She was kidding, but she goes, "Yeah, the only one you care about is Brett." I was like, "More than my kids." She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right." All right. So anyway, guys, remember streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. If you want to see these peeps continue to be a thorn in my side, keep them on the show. Go to ask your questions. Now, look, the other thing we're going to do before we go a little later into the show is at 11 o'clock to 12, we're going to have a topic to talk about with you guys, whether it's 80s movies, favorite actors, those types of things that we'll ask you guys, and we'll have a full discussion. We did Father's Day movies on Friday, which was really cool. So, all right, next topic here is the Kingsman trailer just dropped also. You didn't like it, Ben?
No, I loved it.
Oh yeah, I loved it. It was great. I loved it. It looks so much more back to form for like the mix of like serious plus some goofy over the top stuff. Like the second one was, I think, more of way goofy with a little seriousness, but this one seems like a really good action movie that shows exactly how we got into the formation of what made the first one so good. But Ben, you dug it also?
Yeah, like I did like the last one with the War Pig song behind it, like that. The Black Sabbath was just the trailer. The trailer.
Yeah.
Man, that was so good. But this was, I mean, before COVID, even before, like, because that got pushed back before COVID happened. So this was one of my most anticipated for the year with Ray Fiennes and Jaimin Hunsu and Gemma Arterton. Like, that's a cast right there. And I love going back to World War I times, and Rasputin is gonna be like, does he have like it's always, did he have like these magic dark powers or something? Like, is he creating zombies? But I can't wait. It looks awesome.
It looks really good. Anybody else get a chance to see it today?
The 30 seconds before the show when you told us if we
just
watch it real quick. Yeah.
It just dropped. You wouldn't have watched it anyway.
I would have. I do things now. I read the articles.
Just my impression after watching a trailer. Kate asked me what I thought of the trailer.
So what did you think of the trailer, Brett?
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, keep it short and sweet, People don't want to be bored with.
I looked at it and it was like, the music, and there's some people in it, and it's good.
Fun fact, I did get to the second round of a Rent audition singing War Pigs.
Nice.
In Los Angeles.
Wow.
So. Perfect. Nice. All right, so Goddard and I are the only ones who did our homework. RB3 is, was working, and the rest of these three are delinquents. So we accurate. I'm telling you though, man, the trailer, to be fair to them, the trailer dropped like 3 seconds before we went on the air, but it is a really good trailer. I really liked what I saw so far, and the fact that I was kind of I would say I just was disappointed by the second movie because I'm such a Matthew Vaughn fan, and what I saw, and I loved the first one. I mean, I loved the first one. So I remember leaving that second movie going, oh, this is.
In all honesty, it felt very similar to me as like a Bond film where it's like
the second one.
Yeah, in the sense, hold on, I mean the whole of the franchise in the sense that like
the corny era too. Like the corny era Bonds.
Yeah. So also from the standpoint of like, I can watch them all individually and like one way more than the other, but I'm still like, I'm in the universe. I'm kind of like, I'm here. Or even a Marvel movie. Like you go and see like Ant-Man and the Wasp and you're like, I mean, cool, but like, it's Marvel. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I felt about the second one. So I didn't get super disappointed about it because I felt like they were trying to build this franchise out. And it had great moments like having Boss Hogg sing Word Up. Are you kidding me? That was incredible.
It looks good. So anyway, the trailer dropped. Apparently, from what someone said, it came out last night. Well, I got a notification from it today, so that's when I saw it. So if it came out last night, then everybody should have looked it up. So eat it. All right. So next.
Who's that snitch in the chat? Give me
that
person's screen name.
Snitching like 6'9".
The great Tyler Myers.
Pussy looks sexy.
Pussy looks sexy. So once again, guys, remember streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. Start getting your questions in there now and get the Schmobots ready for about 10 minutes. We're going to turn it back on. And also, let's start to look at the chat of what you guys want to talk about here today. Do you want to talk about greatest action stars of all time? Do you want to talk about romantic comedies? What do you want to talk about? So let's bring up some potential topics. Let's bring up some topics.
Let's not bring any topics.
Back out of that one, Kristian.
I'm out.
Back out of that one.
This is my last show here today. So
Ixnay with the opk.
Die Hard movies. Die Hard villains. Anyway, so the other thing, by the way, speaking of someone put Disney Plus and talking about watching something on Disney Plus. Well, Disney Plus just announced or put out a trailer for Hamilton. I had no idea this was even coming. I had no idea. I had no idea.
Wait. You caught the trailer 3 minutes before the show, but something they've been talking about for 5 months. You didn't know nothing about that shit.
I didn't know. I didn't know they were gonna. I didn't know they were gonna. It was gonna be an entire. They're gonna play the full show for Disney Plus. That's cool because I've never seen it, and it's impossible to get tickets. So maybe that's how they got everybody now. Finally, they're like, look, you can just pay, $6.90.
Cast.
Yeah.
It's
they filmed it like 5 years ago. Apparently.
Yeah, somebody wrote in the chat room. Harlow's is about to see the trailer for Casablanca. He's heard good things. Hey, you guys, there's a movie out there about this. It's this guy, right? And he's got this partner, and he's kind of a loose cannon. I've never heard of this movie before, and his partner keeps saying he's too old for this shit. I was like, what? I never heard of this movie. And they're like, get this, they call him a guy a lethal weapon. It's unbelievable.
Kristian was this close to watching Gone with the Wind before they pulled it off all the streaming services.
I've never seen that movie. I have it here. But what did I watch over the weekend? Did I watch anything? Oh no, I watched yesterday. I watched your favorite, Ben. I got to tell you, I have never disagreed with you more.
Rogue One.
It's fucking awesome.
Oh my god, I hate it.
It's so good.
I'm 10 minutes in my rewatch of it.
It's great, dude. I was watching after watching the gallery series, and we can get into this. I guess it's kind of us transitioning into this Mark Hamill story also, but like. The gallery series is a must-watch for Star Wars fans. It's a must-watch for Mandalorian fans that maybe weren't even big Star Wars fans, but then caught on. The gallery series is so damn good. The last 2 episodes were probably my favorite, and the last one that they did was like the connections and how it all tied together. And watching just that original feel. I was talking to my brother about this. My ranking of the Star Wars movies used to go. At one point, I had Force Awakens even over Jedi, and it was, after rewatching everything, my official ranking right now, and it always change, would be the Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, and then Force Awakens, because Rogue One, if you look at it, put it next to like Mandalorian, it's so much more in sync with Clone Wars, the prequels, the original trilogy. It fits into the overall. I'm sorry, I know I don't want to open up a can of worms here, but the new trilogy is such a goddamn mess. It's just a mess. All three of them, combined. You look at them like together if you like the movies in general, and you can, but as a trilogy altogether, it's a mess. And when you look at what Rogue One and the way it ties in, I just thought it was. I remember liking the movie. But as I was watching, I was like, I love this movie. I really do love Rogue One. Sorry about that, Goddard.
No, just like I've watched it. I watched it 3 times. The last one was for studying. But I can't get into it. The first half is just planet jumping and not really getting to know anybody for me. And then just like the last half, the graphics and like the actual like filmmaking is very good, but just it just doesn't make any sense for me, and it's just too referential. Like it felt very like, hey, remember these guys from A New Hope that Luke almost dies from? They're on this planet. How do they get off in the next 5 minutes before it blows up? No one knows. But hey, there they are.
That's so small though. That's like that takes they could have been from the second that they left that marketplace, they could have gotten on a ship and left. It's like those guys just popping in there for a second. I mean, that's the stuff that bothers you. I mean, like
well, like also there's no like it should have just been Krennic as the villain, but and I'm not because I know there's a lot of reshoots and everything where they put Darth Vader in there and they put Moff Tarkin in there. It's just like, okay, who's the actual bad guy in this movie? And then also if you have a base on Scarif and it gets taken over by 12, 15 army people, you don't call in AT-ATs to destroy your entire base and try and get them out. It makes no sense. Like if someone took over my apartment, I'm not going to take out a bazooka and try and get them out.
I full-heartedly disagree. First of all, have you met the Emperor? Do you think he gives a fuck about a base? He'll blow that shit up in 2 seconds. Like like the point is, I think that we all forget about the Empire. They're all about overkill. Like literally Luke shows up with the First Order, and what does Kylo do? Fire every single gun we've ever had in our life at this one motherfucker.
That's the First Order, not the Empire.
Yeah, my point is, but they come from the shadow of the Empire. You see what I did there?
First Order from that trilogy. First Order is the Empire when you look at it, because it's what Palpatine basically has formed from the beginning.
Because he had a tank full of Snokes. I forgot about that.
Right, exactly. and that's my point. But anyway, but it also goes back, but it also jumps back to why I think a lot of people now are on the same page that the Mandalorian has really replaced. The Mandalorian is everybody's Star Wars right now, because it not only for the fact that it's just this far superior stories out of what's been released in the last like 5-6 years, but because of the way that we're getting more of it and the story continues, and it's already these characters we're starting to get attached to and these backstories and all of that. But there's also it's the stuff that this is what they cover in gallery. It's these connections, and the way Favreau had a great interview, and what he said in one of these gallery things that he told them when he got the job that he did not want to just start doing stuff inspired off of Star Wars. He wanted to make material that inspired Star Wars, like what inspired George to make Star Wars, like the westerns and the samurai films. And you feel that Mandalorian, and it's why it was successful, and why the fans are really responding to it, and why it's continuing to go on. When you look at the connections, and I think the other thing that I was already starting to do that I talked to you guys about for a while was get more of an appreciation for the prequels, right? Like I had I had said a long time ago that prequels, to me, I still think the dialogue and the acting it's not great, but the story is really there. And when you listen to Filoni and all these guys talk about it, you have a greater appreciation for the prequels. So Winston, when you're these connections and the stuff that they're putting together there, and the way that Filoni and Favreau have been handling this, do you think that we're just in more and more great things for Mandalorian, or did we just get lucky with the first season?
I think that they have the ability to take this to the next level. What I am concerned about, like any good thing that happens, I mean, you just said it about how you felt about Kingsman. You got something that you absolutely loved, and then you get some time off, and you restart the process. Can they recapture the magic? I'm a little nervous. I won't deny that. But I think they can do it. I mean, we've seen that they did it throughout an entire season. There was maybe one bad episode. Hey, Mando, like, you know what I mean? So
right.
I think that they can clearly recapture that magic, but it will be interesting to see what happens.
It's funny you bring up that episode because that's ultimately what we're talking about here today with something that was revealed and nobody really knew about, was that there was a lot of cool stuff in that episode that I didn't even realize until rewatching on this gallery thing. And so if you guys remember R4, who's the droid in episode 4, remember when Luke is going to get R2-D2 and C-3PO, there's the droid that pops the gasket and he goes, this R4 is a bad motivator.
Got a bad motivator.
Right. And so Filoni says R4 is in that scene. R4 it has stayed on Tatooine. He never got out and he's working in the cantina, which was great. And then the other thing was that because of what has happened with the Empire, like remember again in episode 4, droids weren't allowed. We don't want their kind in here. And that's changed now because there's a droid working at the bar. And not only is there a droid working at the bar, it was voiced by Mark Hamill, which was incredible. So many great tie-ins to that. So maybe, even though I agree that you look at that episode and it's not the best, but there's some cool shit the way it all ties together. Ben, did you see the gallery series, Goddard?
No, you guys have been talking about it for weeks. I'm just so bad with TV, but I really do need to watch it, talking about like how they filmed it and everything like that, because I did enjoy Mandalorian quite a bit. And just like seeing how they filmed it and how this show came together, I'm really looking forward to season 2. I'm hoping they stay away. Like I said, I think a big reason why people did like it, aside from all the obvious reasons, was that it didn't touch their Star Wars. There's no Skywalkers, there's no Rey, there's none of that.
Yep.
And I'm hoping they stay in a galaxy far, far away. There's more than one family.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think there needs to be at least mention of Luke, though. There's got to be mention of him. I mean, this is the guy that rid the whole galaxy of the Empire, and so if his name's mentioned, if Han Solo is mentioned, if Leia are mentioned, I think they should be mentioned, especially if they start to meet some more rebel or not even rebel, New Republic people, because they have to explore that side of it too. There's only so much they're going to do with just the lone bounty hunter adventures, because there's an overall story that they're explaining. And I think obviously with the rumors of Ahsoka Tano, and there's going to be a lot of connections to Rebels. There's no doubt about it. And I welcome that, because I think that it'll also maybe people who have never seen Rebels before, after watching Mandalorian season 2, they'll want to go back and learn about these characters.
I'd be down for Alden Ehrenreich to definitely make an appearance for sure. The more I watch Solo, the more I really like Solo as a movie is not great, but I really like him. I really
think
like
Alden Ehrenreich showing up in this series as Solo, even though we've seen that's putting a lot of pressure on him, because if you put him in during that time period, then he is going to have to, he says, the luxury that he had, even though I don't necessarily feel that was Han Solo at all, the luxury that he had in that role was people could say, well, this is before he became the guy that we all know. If he shows up in that time period, he's got to be that guy. He's got to be that guy. Hands down, all the way through, and then you gotta. That's a risky thing. I think you keep Han Solo out of it.
Well, I don't. So for me, I kind of think it wasn't his fault. The whole Han Solo thing. I think the whole switching of directors was really the biggest problem. But I think at the end of the day, I hope he gets another chance. I don't think they'll ever give him a chance in another movie though. So I guess TV would be the best way to kind of like slowly weave him back into the fold.
So we're saying two different things here, RB3, because if there's a way, and we've talked about this, like they had mentioned like Crimson Dawn doing a series with like Darth Maul in power, and then getting Emilia Clarke involved, and then if he came in to reprise that role and they gave him different direction, and he could maybe start to own that the smugness and of what Han Solo came to be, I'm down for that. I'm down for them trying that. I just think from what Goddard had said about potentially putting him in at that point, after the rebellion has taken over and the New Republic is running shop, and having him basically play that general that we knew, General Solo, that's a lot of it was a lot of pressure in the first place. That's even more pressure now to ultimately take on the that time period that Harrison Ford made famous.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Yeah.
Anyway,
but we can all agree that the way he got his name was really cool, right?
Oh my god!
Oh god!
Oh, don't bring that up.
Alone?
Yes. Guess what, everybody? Let everyone know here. You guys, it is summertime. I know people are still going to the beach and you're staying 6 feet apart, but guess what? You want to unveil your summer bod? Manscaped. It's here. to ensure that your post-quarantine body is ready for the wild. They got good stuff going on. We've talked about that for a while. Don't be the guy at the beach with a big bear rug on your chest. And if you grew some quarantine man tits, the least that you can do right now is you got to make sure that they're hairless. All right. So the best is that if you don't ever, you've been there before and you feel proud of yourself when you're walking through and you got the bathing suit on. And if there's like a bushel coming out, you're like, oh no, that's offensive to people. They start to dive in the water. You want nothing to do with that. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you're nice, you're cleansed. You want to go, oh, look at that guy. I bet she's got shaved balls. So the Manscaped is dedicated to helping you guys level up your full body grooming game. They have forever changed the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the Essential Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof. We've talked about that at great length. It's amazing. Cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. It's the best trimmer on the market for those of you in need of a chest shave. The third generation trimmer features the skin-safe technology to reduce manscaping accidents. Don't give yourself an accidental nipple piercing. Nobody wants that. And you can also adjust settings to get a length that you like. And you can stay on top of it with almost no effort at all. You can even trim an arrow pointing to the promised land if you're bold enough. You say, hey, look at this. This is where the goods are. Be sure to use their crop cleanser to keep your hair and skin healthy. It's an all-in-one formula, so it's oh shit. Perfect. See, I'm so excited about this. Be sure to use the crop cleanser to keep your hair and skin healthy. It's an all-in-one formula, so it's good for health, a healthy chest hair for your skin. Inside the Perfect Package, you're also going to find the Manscaped Cop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer, because you know how painful chafing can be when you're wearing your bathing suit all day. It stinks. I hate that stupid feeling. You also find the Crop Reviver. It is the testy toner that's designed to give you a pep in your step. Subscribe to the Perfect Package and get a new blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months. And for limited time, subscribers get 2 free gifts. It's the Shed Travel Bag, which is about $39 value. And their patented high-performance, reduced chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. 20% off and free shipping with the code SEN20 at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code SEN20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use SEN20. Trim your chesticles with the besticles. I like that. I like that. My favorite is looking at the chat, and people don't realize how these things work.
I just want to say, have you checked out the GoFundMe for all the guys that tested out the Lawnmower 1.0? A lot of nicks on that one. They got it right, but before it was a little messy. So,
by the way, you guys, it may look like my hair is braided, but this is actually my pubic hair has come up and over my head now.
Perfect.
And I'm just braiding it down the side.
You need this now.
That lawnmower. You need a 5.0. Damn, it's got all the way to your head.
You need the Weed Whacker 3.0.
I actually need just an actual lawnmower.
It looks good. I think it looks good.
You'll use all 3 blades at one.
Jeez,
RB3, I knew G's and. All right, so moving over here to, we are going to turn the Schmobot on. The Schmobot is going to be turned on, so you guys can interrupt the show. Once again, if you want these cast of characters back every day, we are dependent on these donations. So keep them coming. Streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. You want to interrupt the show? Do it. Make sure you put the Schmobots in there. Interrupt the show here today. Whatever you want to talk about, whether it's these topics we've already covered here today or something brand new that you want to talk about, make sure that you put those in there and get those questions in there. Streamlabs.com/the Schmodown.
And we do have 2 Schmobots that already came in that I could play.
Yeah, let's hear one of them.
Okay, here we go. This is from Tim Slim. Or Tim Sim.
Oh, Tim Sim. Love that Tim Sim.
I like Tim Slim also. That's a good one.
Yeah, good dude.
It's a good
second
topic.
album.
That's what I've been trying to do all of quarantine, is become the Win Slim. Not really working.
No.
You look great, Winston. That picture of yourself. Ooh, I was like, I don't know if you saw, I was scamming on you publicly.
Scamming.
Oh shit. Okay.
I was like, is your girlfriend on Instagram? Because if not, I hope she doesn't see me tell you this is so hot.
Okay. You got it?
No, but
I might have to do another one. Let me try another one.
Try another one. All right. As we wait here, too, what we will do is, like I said before, I think that the Mark Hamill story is really cool to get him involved in the way that to see he's done that before. He voiced Darth Bane in the Clone Wars series.
Dildo_Daggins donated $20.
Dildo
Daggins.
Daggins.
Returned to the theater for the Two Towers Extended Edition. Less than 10 minutes into the movie, guy in the front row stands up and projectile vomits, then proceeds to shoot a snot rocket and leaves.
That's not true.
Wait, what did he say?
He said.
That's like.
First of all,
sounds like Chunks. It sounds like when Chunks says,
Yeah.
"One time, I went to a movie theater."
Well, first of all, the guy's name is Dildo Daggins. If that gives you anything, he says that he went to see the extended version in the theater, and while he was there watching the extended version, somebody threw up and then shot snot rockets. I'm gonna go horse shit on that one. Anybody else think that that's an
Hey, look, we got cell phones now. Video or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Through that.
So, I actually would love a segment. Kristian called Call Horseshit, and it's actually just you calling a character.
The Hollywood Reporter confirms that the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai will be on Netflix along with the upcoming season 3. Everyone's response after hearing this news: goodbye YouTube Premium, hello Adblock Plus. Hope everyone will have a good week.
Thank you, Tim. You're the man.
You, Tim.
Yeah, this is how you're going to get more and more people. This is massive news for Cobra Kai. Now remember the other reason is that they had a better deal. Now all the chips were in their hand, man, because they had it. They had it because John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossberg and all those guys and Josh Heald, they all knew that once they put this thing as a hit, I can guarantee you, and they never said this to me, but I can guarantee you they didn't want to be on YouTube after that thing crushed the first time, because people, the way that people had to catch that thing, they knew that they could really reach a larger audience with Amazon or with Netflix. And now on Netflix, I think with the kind of promotion, it's a big move. All right. So once again, guys, streamlabs.com/Schmodown. We're going to start taking your questions. Going to start looking at a lot of the stuff that you guys have going on here today. Is there anything I saw some story? I don't know. How reputable do you guys find Comic Book Movie? I find this pretty good. They have some good stories.
It varies. It's like Screen Rant. They'll get
Brian
a
still
blind squirrel
donated
finds a nut.
$20. I love you, arseholes. When will you be updating new tier members and shipping shite? Also, Kristian, I watched a squirrel eat the shite out of my neighbor's table umbrella. I can't lie. He's happy. Squirrels forever.
Squirrels. I saw a great video they posted in the Facebook group about squirrels. I'll have to tell you this. It was sad, but it was a riot. And it was Michael Rappaport who was doing the voiceover again on it. So there's this old man, and he's excited and sad because he nursed this squirrel back to health. Did you guys see this video?
No.
So he nursed it back to health, and he's petting it, and then you hear Rappaport in the back, and he's like, all right. He's like, it's good. Rub his head. That's good. So let him go now. Put him out. Let him go. And the guy he puts him on the tree, and he's petting him, and he's petting his back, and he's really excited about it. And he's just like, he's sad. He's letting this thing go. And Rappaport's like, all right. And out of nowhere, from the side, a fucking cat comes and eats the squirrel and pulls it away, and you hear them scream. And Rappaport goes, a fucking cat! It's tragic. It's a tragic video, but yet it's tragic. But it is so. At the same time, it is comical.
I'm very grateful that I didn't. I almost out of instinct saw. I got a preview of a show that's coming out, and I almost gave away the preview of the show that exact same thing happens, because I just saw it, and they did the same thing, and they ate it in front of it, and the child starts screaming and shit, and then I realized, don't say that out loud, don't say what it is, because then you'll get fired. Don't do that.
Blue Iris
So-
Blows Kristian donated $20. Hey guys, has anybody checked out the new version of Perry Mason on HBO last night? It's a pretty unique origin story of the classic TV lawyer. Really gritty and dark noir mystery.
Yeah, I heard that, and I knew that. I saw it. So a friend of the show and good buddy of mine, David Gambino, he was the one. Him and Robert Downey Jr. like developed that whole thing. Like they had. I think they were going to make it a movie first and then TV. I can't remember what the story is. I'll have to have David come in and tell us.
Donated $20. Shout out to the man Drip Marshall. Subscribe to him everywhere.
Hell yeah.
Drip Marshall.
Drip Marshall. Speaking of Drip Marshall, how about your boy Ace beating Ken Knapsack in that Star Wars match?
Hey guys, welcome back. Congrats, you won a free time travel trip. You could go anytime you want and you don't have to worry about consequences and messing up timeline. Just a fun time trip. When would you go? Also subscribe to the Meaning of Podcast.
Oh, we're officially back.
Yeah. I think I'd go to the mid 90s again. Maybe late, yeah, I think mid 90s.
1890s?
18 now. I got to
Talk
go.
to Roca.
Right. Right before he hits his roaring 20s.
Oh yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I go mid 90s. I was watching. It's like it's just such an easier time back then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of options here. So
Yeah.
Winston, go forward. Go into the future, Winston.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Winston's like the future. The future.
Maybe college. I mean, there was a lot of really fun. It doesn't really matter if you're broke moments there. You're just getting drunk anyway. So I might say that.
Yeah. Brett.
Oh, I won't say because I'll start to cry.
I'll say it for him. He'd go back to
when my children were little.
I was gonna say when his children were little and would crawl into bed with him still.
Yeah, it was a fun Father's Day. I started off with a soft cry in the shower. And, when nobody was awake, no one jumping in my bed. Oh, the joy.
There you go.
No, it was worse than that. Did you hear there's going to be an Angeline movie?
Jesus.
You guys remember her on the billboards? Angeline?
No, that's not true.
True story. No, I saw that in other
is.
stories you want to see when I was looking at the Mark Hamill one. It came up. Emmy Rossum was going to be in it. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if people that don't live in L.A. would get the Angeline.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, probably not. Joel Schumacher just passed.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
The only thing is, I would have given him credit for other. They said Joel Schumacher, director of the Batman films. It's like he's a lot better movies than the Batman films. But he passed at 80 years old. Yeah, he did Lost Boys.
My first question is always, was it COVID?
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking right now. So Joel Schumacher, who was a costume designer turned director of films, including St. Elmo's Fire. That's what I mean. These are the movies. This is what he's known for. St. Elmo's Fire, Lost Boys, Falling Down, as well as Batman film. Died in New York City on Monday morning. He was 80. Schumacher was handed the reins of the Batman franchise when Tim Burton exited Warner Brothers' Cape Crusader series after two enormously successful films. So this is all Schumacher's second and certainly last film in the franchise was Batman and Robin. Let's see what does they say. I'm trying to read some more about what actually happened to the man. So just keep talking about Batman. Let's see. New York Times. They didn't really say. They're not really saying here what happened to him yet. But I'm looking. But it's always sad. I mean, 80's not. 80's still.
80s.
Yeah, I don't see what they said here, but sad to hear. Obviously, I think the first thing that we always say is his family. We want to make sure that prayers and thoughts go out to his family, and that sucks. He was very talented. He had a lot of great movies of our childhood. You look at back, we're talking about going back in time. They mentioned Lost Boys. Lost Boys is a great movie. So
I didn't know he did Falling Down. Like that's a good movie right there.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's one of my favorites.
It's a great movie. So. Yeah, I was just going to say, is there anything that stands out, when you think about Joel Schumacher, Winston?
Batman.
You got Batman right away.
I really, that's only really what I knew him from, to be honest with you. And it's funny, I didn't realize he was a costume designer. That actually explains a lot about the costumes in those two Batman films. I literally thought to myself watching them, I was like, their costume department got all of the budget for this movie. Honestly, like just seeing the way that the bat nipples and Poison Ivy's raping and Two-Face's actual, like, I feel like the Two-Face from Batman and Forever is better than the Two-Face in The Dark Knight, to be honest with you. Just like the look of him.
Yeah, the look of him, it's true. It was more of the traditional time for sure. I did Phone Booth also. That's another one.
Phone Booth.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yeah, Phone Booth's another.
Man.
I know. Well, it sucks, man. Well, rest in peace.
I'm with you, Kristian. I always defend what he was doing with those Batman. Like it's not Burton, it's not Nolan, but he did what the studio told him to do.
Yeah, it wasn't his. He says it. You can't blame him for those movies because his interviews were perfect, and that's why he's continued to get work after that Batman and Robin film, because he said, look, they wanted to replace Tim Burton. They brought me in. They said they wanted to make it colorful and more of a cartoon. So I did that. And then after, in the fourth one, they said they just want to sell toys.
Yep.
He's like, so I was kind of handcuffed, and they just said, make it as cartoony as possible. And that's what I did. And he was absolutely following the studio's orders there, because you look at something like Phone Booth, because Phone Booth came after that movie. You look at Phone Booth and all those other movies that he did. He's a really good filmmaker.
Phantom of the Opera as well.
Time to Kill.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Time to Kill's a good one. Everyone's so sweaty in Time to Kill.
Yeah, the Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
Yeah. Oscar nominated.
Yeah. So anyway, so rest in peace to the great Joel Schumacher, who leaves us at 80 years old. All right. Again, I always say the same thing. There's no easy transition out of that, but we are we're going to be taking your questions. Streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. So let's start talking to the chat room about what topic at 11 o'clock do you guys want to start going over? Is there a particular actor that you want to talk about? Is there, maybe we do Joel Schumacher movies today? I don't know. Maybe whatever you guys want to do, what you want to talk about, we want to get you involved. So what we have been doing from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock is having conversations with you all. You put in the Schmobots and you
donated $20. Variety reported that he passed away from his year-long battle with cancer. One of his films I remember is the film adaptation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera. It was decent but not musically perfect as the film adaptation of Les Mis. Brian still donated $20. You're all my favorite people in the world. I watch when I can, and this is my first time catching live. I want to thank you all for helping me this past year. I feel like you're a family and you're all truly amazing. I'm also drinking whiskey. Ha ha ha.
Well, that's awesome. By the way, how was everybody? Well, I mean, I guess I'll ask Brett. How was your Father's Day?
That's all right. I
told you. He literally described. I got a text with that exact same thing yesterday. He literally started the day crying in his shower.
I'm sorry. The meds aren't working as well as they should be during this time. Being a little, I don't know. Again, I don't want to get into it, but I know I love my kids. They're great, but they begrudgingly tossed me a couple handmade cards that made jabs at me about eating their candy. And listen, if you're a smart ass, you raise smart asses.
Yeah, well, no, this is why right now I'm in that period where you're trying to get back to. That's where I am. I have the two kids. When I wake up, they make me a card and they want to do stuff. And my wife yesterday makes this bolognese from scratch, right? With the penne and. Oh, sorry, rigatoni, and it was like restaurant style. It was so fucking delicious. I'm telling you. And then she made a carrot cake for my father-in-law. I mean, this woman is sent from the heavens. And holy shit, it was so good. And I'm not even a big carrot cake fan, but man, it was awesome. It was so good. I had a pretty good meal, and the kids were pretty awesome. I was saying to you, Ben, I was watching. I watched the end of Revenge of the Sith with my daughter. I've never seen it, and then we watched a lot of Rogue One together. But that was kind of what we did. And then what's that?
Just interject. Poor Brett is like, yo, I cried in the shower.
Yeah,
I was called me a bastard. Like, ain't nobody called me to check on me. Kristian, like, yo, my wife the shit. My kids the shit. I ate the best food in the world. I watch my favorite movies with my child. My life is perfect.
What's up, beaches? Yes, Queen. Good to have the crew back in action. What are your favorite Mark Hamill performances outside of Luke Skywalker and the Joker? He was a lot of fun in What We Do in the Shadows on FX recently. Bye, beaches. Love ya.
The robot in the Mandalorian was my favorite performance.
Robot in the Mandalorian.
I just want to say it was nothing that they did is what's wrong with going on in here.
No,
my kids are great. My daughter read me a book. She wanted to make pancakes, and I really was craving a burrito from down the street, a breakfast burrito, so I ordered that. Nice. And that made up for 3 meals. It's so big. Nice. So we didn't have to go anywhere. I did some Amazon Prime, and I don't make a big deal out of it. I've never been
I do gotta say, Brett, like sometimes, like as a person who's just coming out of my childhood, like I do feel really bad about the way I treat my parents, the way like you talk about it, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, man, I should have been a lot nicer when I was like 12.
My kid just made me in gold.
Yeah,
bricks. I have gold bricks in my yes. It's
I will say that my therapist told me that your kids have to hate you in order to leave the house. That's the one thing you got to be 13 and you got to not want to do what your parents and not want to hang out with them. But like my son, he was playing Zelda all day, and he's like, "Do you want to play?" I mean, I'm like, "No, because if I start playing a different game, you're gonna go in your room. If this is how I get to hang out with you, watching you play Breath of the Wild, then that's what I'm gonna do today. Because this is, like
that's really sweet, man.
So it's
this is actually yeah. Go ahead, Kate.
I was gonna say, for the record, Brett's children adore him.
Yeah.
They truly do. They worship the ground he walks on, and they are little Bretts walking around the world. There's not just one Brett Sheridan on this planet. There are 3.
Yeah, they just call him fuckface for love.
Yes, exactly. But I gotta tell you, his 13-year-old son, as funny as we think Brett Sheridan is, his 13-year-old son Blake
doesn't give a shit.
One of the funniest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Recently, I at some point I'd said like, well, who doesn't even like Lydia? And like Blake raised his hand. I mean, about his sister.
Yeah.
It's like, I said, who doesn't get? They're the greatest kids, and they love their dad so much.
But Kate, I'll give you a sweet and scary story at the same time. Last night, right before we went to, the kids were sleeping, and right before we went to bed, lights on, and the door opens up in my bedroom, and it's my oldest. And she walks in, and she's doing this, like, as the light's on, she's walking through, and she goes, you told me to visit. And she gives me a hug. She goes, you told me to visit. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you still sleeping? She's like, I'm going to go now. And she has no recollection. Bro, came in. She came in last night. She was sleepwalking. She was my wife was she was like brushing her teeth, and as I go, did you see that? She's like, no, what happened? I go, she just came in here and said you told me to visit, and then took off. And then she's like, well, let me go check on her, and she was out cold. Oh no,
Kristian, I apparently scared the shit out of my college roommate because we had been living together a month. This is freshman year, and I'm out cold. He's just watching just by computer light some anime or whatever. And I sit the fuck up and I go, hey, turn that fucking light off. And he goes, the light off. And he sounds like, turn it off, turn the fucking light off. And he goes, okay. And he gets up and he turns the light on. And I go, thank you.
And you have a scary yell too. So I would, if you would have been like, make me an omelet, I'd be like, all right, I'll make you an omelet.
Side note,
yes.
My kids do not come in my room, so I did have a very nice Father's Day evening.
Okay.
Did you use Blue Chew and knock the walls down?
No, there's pictures hung up all over the place. You can't see them over here, but it's just like a of photos.
Blue Chew. Need to build a shed? Take a Blue Chew. Hey, we gotta give your husband one of these Blue Chews so you can review it.
Listen, no problem. Are you kidding me? I make sure we now, because I know that I get too drunk every night, that I like. We get creative. We schedule things like midday. The children are in there taking their naps.
That's right.
Because otherwise, if he's counting on me to be willing and sober after 5 p.m., he's got the wrong bra. Winston's
like, can I get one? No, we are not going to be an accessory to murder, so cut it out.
It's fine. I went and bought my own gun legally. Okay, I got a package of Blue Chew in the back. I don't need you.
Jump rope there. Now it's Winston. He's on the fucking Blue Chew again.
What just happened?
What just came into my room?
We back.
Bags. Can we get Schwarzenegger, Obama, Chicago, Kate, drunk Brett, and Russian Ben ordering food at a Hooters?
Oh yeah.
Hooters.
So who is it?
Schwarzenegger, Obama, Russian Ben.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Kate.
Yes, Chicago Kate, and there's one more for Brett.
Drunk Brett.
Doing what?
I think it was drunk Brett.
Ordering food at a Hooters.
All right, cool. Here we go. Ready? Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you're all here. And I know this is like, normally I would have picked somewhere nice, but this is the only place open that you still got to wear masks. But hey, come on, be honest. Look at the orange shorts. I love it. Hey, wings here now.
Personally, I've been coming here for a while. This is actually the first date I took Michelle on. She told me it was the only wing spot I could find, and we love it. We come here every Mother's Day.
I like what you're doing. Hey, NoHo Hank, that's who you are. How do you like
it is I.
How do you like the wings here? Do you like them crusty?
And in Soviet Russia, wings are always frozen and never fried. So it is good to have warm chicken for once, and not live chicken that you have to catch with bare hands first.
You're making a lot of sense. Chicago Kate, please stop drinking all the ranch.
Okay, well, first of all, if you want to take me to a classy joint like this and you expect me not to drink all the ranch, you got the wrong broad. Okay, that's A of all. B of all, what is this? This is just like what I wish I looked like. Oh, God, this is just a nightmare.
Okay, hey, Brad, stop drinking out of the urinal. Come here.
What, they serve food here?
Yeah, fair enough. I tell you, everybody. Now, look, Luke Skywalker just walked in. Luke, how are you enjoying your chicken burger there? I brought it especially for you.
They have chicken burgers? I was looking for some blue milk. Does anybody know what any blue milk is?
They ran out. It's very popular during the pandemic.
Oh, no. Well, let me get back to the Toshi station and get those power converters.
Hi, Luke.
Kristian, have you witnessed RB3's indignant white man?
Oh, I've heard about it.
Wait. You do one too?
That's a schmobot.
Yeah,
can't give it to him for free.
That's a schmobot. Yeah. All right, Brett. But I know you've been sad. I know you were sad yesterday, but you did have a fix.
No, there are things that do help out. If you're like me and you have stress, anxiety, chronic pain, or trouble sleeping at least once a week, you are not alone. And I'm telling you, I don't think there's anybody that isn't going through this right now. I decided at the beginning of the quarantine, I'm like, hey, why don't I fuck up my sleep schedule? So you got to get things dialed back in. You got to get your, things worked out, because this has been a rough time for everybody. So what you want to do is you want to discover Feels. It's a premium CBD delivered directly to your doorstep. It helps you reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness naturally. This is just like a tincture that you use. You put it under your tongue, and it helps you feel better in a matter of minutes. And it can help you sleep and reduces anxiety. And the thing to remember about CBD is that finding the right dose is important, and everybody's dose is different. So that's why they have this free hotline where you can actually, call people and ask them about, CBD and for your own experience to kind of dial it in. They have this thing called the Flight also that is like different degrees of, milligrams of it to help you kind of dial in that dosage. So it works naturally. There's no high, no hangover, no addiction. So you join the Feels community and you get Feels delivered to your door every month. You'll save money on every order, and you can pause or cancel at any time. Feels has me feeling my best every day, and it can help you too. Become a member today and go to feels.com/SEN and get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's feels.com/SEN and become a member and get 50% automatically off your first order with free shipping. Feels.com/SEN. And you just type it in like that. Actually, you don't go to the website Feels first and then if you just type that in, the 50% is automatically taken off. And there you have it.
Thank you, Mr. Brett.
Did my husband's phone ring on everyone's computer or just
No.
Just yours.
No, we didn't hear it. Just yours. Thank you. But again, for both of you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, whether it's live or on the replay, both Manscaped and Feels, you can see the links in the description of this video right here. If it's audio, then please make sure that you use those codes for the sponsors here today. It is very, very helpful for you when you're doing that. And it helps the show, obviously. And obviously, if you are listening on audio, you should be subscribed, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If it's on Apple Podcasts, do us a favor. Leave us a review, rate, do all that stuff, because it's super helpful for the show. It helps get more sponsors, and it helps with the duration, keeping this show on the air. Now, Ben Goddard, should we try to do maybe Schumacher films? Maybe try today, talk about the late, great, what happened? Who fell? What happened?
I was trying to tell my wife to turn the AC on, and my phone dropped on them because I'm dying back here.
Oh, I thought that like someone's colon just fell out. I was
that too.
Well, if your asshole falls out, make sure you use asshole remover.
It's the 4.0. The first 3.0 asshole remover.
Trash Panda donated $20. Can we get President Obama awarding the Presidential Medal of Honor to an emotional drunk Brett for his work in the podcasting world? His proud manager, Kate Mulligan, can loudly cheer him on from the audience.
Yes, but let's do it.
Donated $20. I would like this quote, indignant white man, please maybe have him talk to Anaconda Brett.
The answer to that is both of those, yes, but we're going to get into this conversation and want to start taking questions from you guys, so we'll save the impressions for a little later during the end of the show. But let's have one more conversation here with the chat. Remember, once again, guys, we want to make sure that we need to get you guys involved in the chat. So if there's something that you want to talk about more so than anything else that you feel you're being inclined to get involved in the conversation, whether it be Super Chat, Streamlabs, the Schmobot, whatever it is, let's start talking about it, because we want to make sure we can have the crew come back here too. So what comments, what topics should we talk about? Let's start, and let's say it's a matter of the Schumacher movies. We could talk Lost Boys, we could talk performances inside of Schumacher movies, we can talk about any of that stuff, or if not, what do you want to talk about? I'm looking at the actual chat room here, and let's get some suggestions. But Ben, why don't you read some of the Streamlabs as we get through this, as we look for the topic?
Sounds good. The Flying Cow. Hey, Kristian, this weekend I released a podcast discussing the upcoming singles tournament, and I have a few questions. 1, will you be continuing the mini tournament that was to include Bateman's #1 contender shot?
So the first part of that is the singles tournament is going to be 36 people overall with play-ins. Because of the way that this is going to work right now, Erwin, so over the weekend, this is what I can tell all the managers. So I did tell Winston this already. Kate hasn't been told yet, but everyone will. We figured out how to do speed round for the digital. We figured out how to do it because we weren't sure how we were going to do it with buzzer, but we figured out how we're going to do it. Hasn't officially been put into play yet, so I don't want to announce exactly what it is, but we're pretty confident of how we're going to do it. So Smets and Chandru will probably happen sooner than later, and it will most likely be its own maybe pay-per-view match with the same way that we do for the live events, and then it'll air a week later on the YouTube channel, same way that we've always done it in the past, but $10 patrons will get it first, that type of thing. So that's the first thing. That's as far as how, and we're also going to have Roca versus Erwin, which will be another match, and the winner will play Dan Murrell. But we have to talk to Dan, because normally at this point, Dan would have defended the title, or would have had, if he won, would have defended against either Erwin or Roca, right? And then he would have already been playing for that second defense probably now. So in order to speed that up, I think that what we're probably going to do at the moment is we're probably going to shift and make the Andrew Guy and Kalinowski a number 1 contender match, and then Paul and Liz and everyone else will probably be entered into the tournament right now if their managers should want them to do that. So that's probably the way that we would aim for it at the moment. So Ben Bateman will probably play the winner of Kalinowski versus Guy, and then the winner of that would get a shot at either Irwin, Roca, or Merle, whoever the champion is. So that's kind of how that's looking.
So Roca and Irwin are going to play each other, then play Dan, and then the winner of that will play the winner of Guy, Kalinowski, or Bateman. Got it.
That's right. That's
Cool.
right. All right.
And then number 2 from Flying Cow, will this year's tournament continue the precedent of excluding the players in the most recent title match?
No, well, not necessarily, because it's going to be up to the managers, because this year it's like, so for example, if Irwin's playing against Roca and Irwin loses, it's going to be very hard for me to convince Sam that Irwin can't play in the tournament now, because that's points that he would be taken off the board. So no, they'd probably be able to play.
Cool.
Yeah.
And his last question, Moo, because he's a Flying Cow. Dildo Gaggins with the spot.
Dildo Gaggins. Oh, I thought it wasn't vulgar. 317. Hi guys, question. On Saturday, I was at my best friend's house, and this person that I don't like was there and avoided this person. This person can be a know-it-all and made fun of me in the past. I don't know what to do. Should I talk to my best friend about it? Thanks.
I mean,
shit.
Good RB3. Good RB3.
That's what you gotta do, man. That's how I handle that situation.
No, don't incite violence here. if we have, I think that if you have, you talk to your buddy, and then if you talk to your buddy and you say, listen, here's the thing, I don't get along with this person. I mean, I don't know how close you guys are. You know, it depends. I don't know how old you are. Also, you know, it's like you should definitely talk it out and find out what.
Dildo Gaggins is definitely.
This isn't Gaggins. This isn't Dildo.
Oh.
This isn't Dildo. This is
Okay.
this is Marvel 317.
Oh,
She knew that. She just wanted to say the name again.
No, I actually didn't. I for some reason thought.
yeah, I was
I thought
confused
this
too.
was too.
Tim Sim with the Schmobot. Pepper Salt. I watched Shame for the first time, and it was incredible. The score is amazing, and Fassbender was robbed of an Oscar.
Listen, wait, hold on. Does nobody want to give that poor guy advice?
I mean the advice is yes, you 1,000, because I'm actually in I have a similar situation where there was somebody who I ultimately ended up not liking at all, but she's very good. We mutually both have a best friend that we hang with. I've just been real with my homie. I was like, look, I don't like her, so
Yeah.
if it's a situation where you really, really want her to be there, I'll just miss that particular thing and I'll make it up to you another time. But I can't be in the same room as her. It's not.
And that's
gonna work.
fair. Yeah, that's fair. I've had that conversation. You know, it's like, look, I don't really get along with that person. If they're going to be there, just let me know, and I probably won't be there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Because especially if you make it clear, I'm not trying to say that I can't be friends with you, but I can't be in the vicinity of this person. So
Well, and that person, yeah, your friend should give you a heads up if that person's going to be. I think that's totally fair. Like, listen, if you're going to be chilling with X and I don't really work, so just give me a heads up. Like, when I come over to your house, I'm expecting to come over to your house, but like if X is going to be there, just let me know. I feel like that's totally in bounds and like not problematic at all.
well, right, and I think the big thing though is because this person was trying to debate what to do. I mean, the one thing that is true is a closed mouth don't get fed. If you don't tell them that you have a problem,
They're not going to know.
then they're not going to know, and you're doing this to yourself at that point. So.
All right. So before we move on to the next one, to remember, we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking in respect to the great Joel Schumacher. We're going to talk about Joel Schumacher movies. So if there's a particular movie that you want to talk about with Joel Schumacher, and it's okay if we repeat it here too, but make sure that inside, if you're going to put a Schmobot in, like if you put Lost Boys, the reason Lost Boys resonated with me is I remember seeing it, and Corey Haim to me reminded me myself as a kid and the way that Lucas was, and going through those things and leave actual examples.
_Dick_Pants donated $50. Hey,
Thank
gang. So glad to have everyone back. I really enjoyed the 2 episodes of House of Cards that Schumacher directed.
Yes.
Phone Booth is a highly underrated film.
All right, so there you go. So let's start with that. So I've still to this day maybe seen 15 minutes total of House of Cards. So RB3, you're a fan of you watched the show, and so you remember those 2 episodes that he did? Were they really good?
Yeah, well, I think all the episodes of House of Cards are good. But I think particularly with the Joe Schumacher episodes, I think he directed them in the kind of earlier seasons. I mean, you do see a little bit of his style, but his style. What's funny about House of Cards is that the style is a little over exaggerated in like a fun way. You know what I mean? Like they're close up of like glasses that are kind of weird, or close ups and weird shots that kind of float in and out. But it's all with this like dark kind of tone. But it's cool to see that he still has his kind of style and can bring that to even the TV show that's super popular. So I love that.
Yeah, and of course, Phone Booth. I think everybody. I mean, Winston lost his mind when we brought up Phone Booth. It was just a very creative movie. It was Kiefer Sutherland and Colin Farrell. Yeah,
Forrest Whitaker is the cop. Yeah, no, it was great. It was a phenomenal movie for me because it was the beginning of Colin Farrell starting to like really take off.
Yeah.
And so it was while it was a smaller film, it didn't like blow people's minds at the box office. It was, like you said, it was very creative. It was cool to see Kiefer Sutherland, because at that point I was a massive 24 fan. So to know that Jack Bauer's out here sniping people for justice, like, was just like a lot for me. It was a really, really, really well done movie.
Yeah, and it just had that like, be able to do that movie, because it's always you think right away it's like gimmick, right? Because it's going to be, how are you going to do a full movie like that? But to be able to pull that off, and RB3, I'm sure as a director, you can also kind of admire the way that, because being able to do that, and the smart thing about it, the movie's like an hour and a half long or whatever it is. And you spend an hour and a half inside of this phone. And normally when you see a movie for an hour and a half, that's like short. But when the entire premise is him going back and forth in this damn phone booth the whole time, an hour and a half is a long time.
Yeah.
So what is it about him, a filmmaker, that he was able to pull that off, do you think?
Well, it's just like masterful pacing, right? Like, I think that's the big key of it. Like you said, it was short, but it felt, it felt tense and it felt impactful. I mean, I think that having that kind of small proximity, like just like being only confined to like the small area, as that extra level of intensity where you can rely a lot on like close-ups and like all these different things. So Joe Schumacher, whatever you may say about some of his other movies, he was a master at his craft. You know what I mean? Like, he really understood the principles of building suspense and like almost like a Hitchcockian kind of way. So it's really good stuff.
Yeah, I think the other thing about it, that because I actually watched Blind Spotting on Juneteenth, I hadn't seen it yet, and what I realized about both Phone Booth and Blind Spotting is they're treated like plays. So anybody that's ever really been in theater, it is the idea that you have a minimal amount of settings. The reason behind that is because you don't always have a massive budget to just swipe the whole stage and do whatever. Yeah. So to treat it like that is putting urgency on your character development. That is putting urgency on the stakes and everything else. And so it becomes a way more intense masterclass on what's going on in that moment versus the spectacle behind everything.
Oh, Goddard, did you ever Goddard? Okay, Kate.
No, I was gonna say, the Phone Booth reminds me of that movie Locke that Tom Hardy was in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, where it's like, you're like, how on earth could it be a one-person movie in a car?
Mark_Jason_Ali donated $20. Sorry. Welcome back, crew. I really hope Roxy returns too. Phone Booth was incredible, really creative. That's my favorite of Schumacher. R.I.P. Harl off his knapsack in contention to manage the Drooks. Got the feeling last week that he doesn't want to compete anymore.
Whoa, we're gonna answer that in a second. We have exclusive big news here. Big news. Exclusive. I don't know how true this is. This is from The Wrap. It says Batman Returns. Michael Keaton is in talks to reprise his Bruce Wayne from Tim Burton's Batman films opposite Ezra Miller in the Flash movie.
No way.
Batman Returns. Michael Keaton. This is from The Wrap. Michael Keaton returning to play Bruce Wayne in The Flash. And this is breaking now. The plot will introduce, thank you to PJ Campbell who just sent this to me. The plot will introduce general audiences to the idea of the multiverse, one of the core concepts under DC Comics. After nearly 30 years, Michael Keaton is in talks to return to the role of Batman, to appear alongside Ezra Miller in Warner Brothers' upcoming movie, The Flash. The Wrap has learned exclusively. Talks with Keaton are in the very early stages. It is far from a sure thing, and it can go either way. All right. No details are currently available about how big or small Keaton's role is. That plot will introduce general audiences to the idea of the multiverse, one of the core concepts underpinning DC Comics. For the non-fanboy set, the multiverse refers to a shifting number of alternate universes that can coexist with the larger reality depicted in DC Comics. So very, very interesting news here that he could come in here after not playing the role since 1991 or some shit. Jeez. So yeah. I think this is brilliant. I think that because first of all, they were trying to find a way to get Ezra Miller's Flash going in general. They were trying to find a way, and they teased it in Batman v Superman about the, how when he goes to talk to Bruce, that kind of stuff was happening. And I've obviously seen it in the TV show and in the comics, obviously. I think by using Michael Keaton's return in Batman, you got to give him a bigger role, though. I know. Now, Winston, you're a massive Batman guy. You like this? Do you hate this? How do you feel?
Oh, I love it. I mean, this puts me back in Crisis mentality that just happened this past winter. I think that you already kind of actually, for those that didn't watch Crisis, you got a teasing of that because you had Grant Gustin's Flash end up meeting Ezra Miller's Flash in a weird kind of time, Speed Force, whatever. So you already had Warner essentially setting this up to be like, hey, this could technically all be interconnected. So to do this, I think is a good move because that also offers up that any of the Arrowverse people could make an appearance in one of the movies, even if it's just a cameo. You could end up with a situation, obviously Michael Keaton, you could have Kevin Conroy, you could have whatever essentially come out of everything they've ever done by introducing this.
Yep, I'm going to change the title of the video right now. That just makes more sense to do. So
it had been rest in peace, Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
Now
we changed the title 4 times in the span of an hour.
Wait a minute. Did Joel Schumacher unlock the multiverse? Did all of his energy just blow? Wow.
Maybe that's it.
Bro.
That's it.
And I was just going to get into DC Cab.
I know.
Written and directed by Joel Schumacher because I have a phone that I can look things up.
Nice.
No, but he did the screenplay for The Wiz.
But as much as you joke about, but Brett, funny, but Batman 1989 was when you look with Superman, what Christopher Reeve did that was the first big superhero movie that popped. It was the Superman movies, and then 3 and 4 kind of shit the bed, but then 89 Batman, that movie was an RB3. You weren't even a thought at this part in the world.
No.
But either way, even that how big of a movie this was. Lines around the block. It was the start of what we know with the superhero craze of the way that those movies can deliver and what Tim Burton did. And Michael Keaton was not the guy anybody thought should be Batman.
No.
He was a comedian. He was Mr. Mom. He was gung-ho. He wasn't Batman. That's what people were saying. Proved everybody wrong because to this day, people will die on the hill of Michael Keaton as Batman. I think he's a great Batman. Dorina, absolutely Dorina. But I mean, Christian Bale's my guy. But I think that Michael Keaton was a great Batman for the movies that he was in. And I also think what's interesting though is because of the follow-up that he did with Birdman, is that
he made fun of it.
He made fun of it. So him returning to Batman shows the money was really good, so you went up. And so that to me makes a lot of sense. But I think that by doing it and putting it there, I want to see him involved though. Goddard, how involved do you think that he will be if this turns out to be the real deal?
Well, the Flash movies had a lot of problems from day one, and they always said they wanted to do Flashpoint, which involves Flash changing the timeline to save his mom, and then he realizes that now Thomas Wayne is Batman and he's killing people, and Martha Wayne is the Joker, and all this stuff, and he has to go, and Aquaman's fighting Wonder Woman for the end of the world. And if you guys haven't watched that animated Flashpoint movie, it's really, really good.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's blurry. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'll do something real quick.
Finish your thought first, and then fix it.
But if I can see, I'd love for Michael Keaton to play Thomas Wayne. He doesn't have to play 80. He doesn't have to play Bruce Wayne from 89, or if it's a different universe. But I think Michael Keaton would kill as a super dark like jaded Batman that like is I just shoot people now. I don't take prisoners. I'm gonna throw you off a building and like not catch you with my grappling gun this time. I'm not gonna like like in Christian Bale, he's like, oh, from one professional to another, this fall is not gonna kill me. He's like, I'm counting on it, and then drops him. Michael Keaton will actually kill someone, and I'm hoping like that would be really cool.
And
Josh Barnett donated $20. The Keaton news is great. I loathe everything Burton, especially his Batman, but Keaton is just so charismatic and talented it's hard to be upset by this. Just the existence of the multiverse is incredibly exciting as a lifetime DC fan.
Yeah,
I agree, and I think the other thing that this leads credence to is you're actually setting this up. If Michael Keaton is okay with coming back, you can set up potentially even doing a Batman Beyond at some point in the future and have him play old Bruce Wayne.
Right,
He's getting up there now, so that actually would naturally transition, which would be kind of fun.
Yeah, and Winston, you brought it up though, right? The whole thing that happened over the summer or whenever, not summer, the flash
last winter,
right? I'm sure that they looked at that and saw how people lost their minds over all of that and said, "Shit, how come we're not doing this in the movie? Let's do it in the movie." And then remember, and how people freaked out when there was a picture of Michael Keaton in that, and there was a picture of Michael Keaton inside of that series. People lost their minds over it, so they said, "Dude, imagine if we can get Keaton to actually become Batman again and team him up with Ezra." And I wouldn't be surprised if Ezra Miller was probably trying to lead that charge also because he's a producer on the movie, right?
Well, didn't he like try to like rewrite the screenplay too, like himself at one point? Yeah. So I wonder. I'm curious to know like if that was his idea or not. I'm curious also because I think that if it was like the Zack Snyder like murder universe that he was kind of establishing, I think it would I think the Flashpoint like straight up adaptation would make a lot more sense where they're talking. I know they talked about Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne or whatever too. Is like the murder.
Yeah, that's why he was in that flashback because they wanted to set up Flashpoint. With him in there.
But if I personally think if you're doing Michael Keaton coming back, I think it should be a more of a fun tone. I think the most recent successful DC movies are indicative of a more fun kind of upbeat tone. So I would kind of like to see the old bat, the old bat suit, the old Batmobile, and all of the old Keaton iconography like really come back into the play. And honestly, I mean, I don't know if I don't know what the status of like people like Christopher Reeves or whatever, but I would love to see like maybe a background image of like Christopher Reeves in this universe too. To like kind of just like show that maybe like that Superman and that Batman are in the same location or whatever. I mean, I just want to, it's a fun time to be a nerd and it's a fun time to like explore like that kind of like geek kind of stuff. And I think that the possibilities are endless. I think Rick and Morty was really one of the first things I saw that kind of opened up the multi-universe kind of conversation. And now, we see Marvel doing it. We're seeing DC doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if Star Wars started touching onto that.
Jet Li's The One RB3?
Oh, yeah, that too.
This is really smart, though. It's really smart for a lot of different reasons because what it does is it takes the new school, combines it with the old school, and gets generations to want to see this movie.
And you know what? They set it up already in Justice League when they played the Tim Burton Batman music from
and the John Williams score too. Absolutely. So I think this is a brilliant move. It turns out to be true, and like the report says, though, remember that though it says that they're talking right now. But sometimes when these type of things leak, they're throwing it out. It's either right. It's already done, maybe, or it's also it's a pressure move, and it's also to test the waters to see, like, hey, man, look, the fans love this, as opposed to this is stupid. We don't want to see this. Why are they going back to the well there? He clearly doesn't want to do it. I doubt people are going to be saying that. I think most people are going to be on the same kind of wavelength that we are on this show, I think. But Kate, you remember the Batman movies. Is this something? Would you want to see Michael Keaton again as Batman?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, Batman 1989, that's the movie, that's the Batman movie I grew up on.
Right.
And like Dark Knight definitely was, I was older, and I definitely can say that like I love the Nolan Batman films for sure. I remember thinking like, whoa, this is so different. But like there's Michael Keaton, to me, like, I don't know, I think he was sort of like an unlikely Bruce Wayne too, because like Christian Bale makes so much more sense in the sense that he's he looks like a successful, sexy businessman that would be a billionaire.
Right.
Michael Keaton's kind of like he kind of was. I don't know. I just feel like he's the unlikely hero, and I would love to see him back, but I would also love to see like different like if they're having two Flashes meet. I would love to see like some sort of like meshing of the different Batmans.
Could you see Christian Bale making a cameo at some point?
No, I don't think. I think Christian Bale's probably too big to share.
I don't know. Man.
I don't think that's true. I think he's made it clear a couple different times that he would have come back for. He said it a bunch of different times that Everest talks. He could come back after his movies. I don't think he wanted to necessarily stop playing Batman. It just wasn't in the cards for where they wanted to go with it. I don't think I think he'd be open for it if they had the right thing for him, right? I mean, I see where you're going, Kate, is the fact that everything he does role wise like touches is like gold. It's Oscar stuff.
It's just Oscar, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But like I think with him, I think there's a shot that he could do it. But I think if I'm the studio, I stay away from that because you don't want to take away the spotlight from Keaton.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah. That's a different thing. So I say you stay away from that. I think it's not likely, but I think what you do is if it's successful and down the line, they want to do something else like that, then maybe. But focus on Keaton.
But what's interesting, and I was wondering about this. I wonder how much of this was even set into motion. I know DC was thinking about this, but because of the success of Into the Spider-Verse and seeing when they brought all those different characters in, if that then inspired them to do that, so that again, you even see this, yes, Michael Keaton shows up, and then you get like a thing at the end of the movie where all the Batman show up and be like, we got a problem. And then it's a whole nother crisis event, but done on a movie scale instead of a TV scale.
I think that could be big, but I also think that you have a pretty big kind of fishing hook here with just having
Michael Keaton.
Keaton back, because having him back, it's a really smart move. All right, look, so once again, guys, going on over to streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. We're going to do both here now. We're going to do both movies of Joel Schumacher in honor of the great Joel Schumacher passing away today. Any of his movies that you want to talk about, make sure that you add those into the streamlabs.com/the Schmodown or Super Chat. Or we also want to hear your thoughts on this potential situation of Michael Keaton returning as Batman in The Flash.
Marshall Weeks donated $20. I loved 8mm with Nicolas Cage and the late great James Gandolfini. I just really enjoyed that movie. I used the SEN code for Manscaped, so my eggs smooth balls. Thank you. You want to get nuts? Come on, bring back Keaton Batman. Hey,
yeah, right.
Hey.
So this is also Slash Film to follow up on this, and PJ Campbell is getting a raise here. So the Michael Keaton will return as Batman in multiple DC movies, starring with the Flash solo movies, multiple DC movies. So the role will probably be big. So Michael Keaton will be Batman again. This says it will be.
Now this is my question too. Now with Robert Pattinson. Is Robert Pattinson's Batman not connected to the rest of the DC universe? Because now it seems like Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be stepping into that role.
Somewhat, yeah, it does. But this is why. Look, and I've been saying this about DC over the last couple months here. They found their rhythm. And they say, okay, we can do certain movies that connect, and other ones don't. We'll do a spin-off of the Joker. We'll do this. We'll do that. And as long as it's not confusing and how it's going to kind of paste together, then fine, right? And so exactly what you're saying here, RB3, is that Ezra Miller's Flash obviously connects into the movies that we've seen so far that have come out in this extended universe, but without Ben Affleck there, right? It's like, who's their Batman? Well, guess what? We have the multiverse, so our Batman is going to be Michael Keaton, is essentially what you're saying here, RB3. So if we have Michael Keaton now is Batman, coming back in multiple DC movies, this old kind of grizzled Batman that we know from the past Burton. And this is very smart on DC's part. Very, very smart. So this is what I don't think anybody expected this again, but here we are. This is again comes from Slash. Via the rap, Michael Keaton is returning to play Batman Bruce Wayne once again. Keaton is expected to appear as Batman in Flashpoint, the Flash movie that is currently set to be helmed by Anthony Muschietti, who of course did the It movies in the Flashpoint comic. The Flash travels to an alternate universe where Thomas Wayne, not Bruce Wayne, is Batman. This has led to speculation that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who played Thomas Wayne in Batman v Superman, might appear as Batman. Okay, so following up, it also sets up the possibility of multiple universes with the DCEU or whatever we're calling it these days, and that is where Keaton's Batman might come in. It's all speculation, of course, with the Hollywood Reporter's Boris Kitt reporting that Keaton may sign up for multiple movies, acting as a mentor figure to other heroes. The sky is the limit here. This means there's also the chance of a Batman Beyond, there you go, Winston, style movie with an older Bruce Wayne training a young apprentice. Honestly, it just goes back and forth. As for the status of Ben Affleck's Batman, now that Keaton has re-entered the part, ask again later. Wow. So
also Val Kilmer, right? Who else are we missing?
I know. Well, Kilmer has like cancer now or something though too. So he can't speak very well.
Yeah. So way to bring things down, Kate.
Wow.
Nice. Been such a great discussion, and you
just blew it.
Come in with that shit.
I'd be down to see, like, I know he'd never do it. Like, I think Christian Bale might make a cameo, but I know George Clooney never would. But I'd love to see George Clooney in there.
Don't say never would. Don't say never would, because never would is Michael Keaton's never would. You know, at one point.
I thought Michael Keaton was never would.
Keaton had 2 critically acclaimed box office movies. George Clooney had like anytime, like the worst movie ever made, Batman and Robin always gets brought up. Like I enjoyed for the cheesiness and Arnold, but George Clooney wanted nothing to do with Batman after that.
Yeah, I'd
love to see it. Prove me wrong, please. I want to see it.
You never know.
He was the worst one, but it would be fun to have him come back.
Yeah.
I still think that you basically you focus on Michael Keaton here, put the spotlight on him in the Flashpoint movie, and then if there are going to be multiple movies, then we can start playing into this. Let's try to get Bale now. Let's try to get Tony now. Let's focus on this one first, because you'll get it. And also, don't blow your wad in one shot. You know what I mean? If you know that people are going to come see this movie because Michael Keaton is in it, why waste the other? It's like, look, we got a second movie, and that'll be our second. We got Bale's going to come back, but let's bring him in for the sequel. Great. Yeah. And so on and so on. And because imagine Bale and Keaton working together as dual Batmans. I mean, come on, who the hell's not going to go nuts on that one?
Yeah.
So this is a way that they can kind of do their own version of. Like you said, Winston, you could do. I think that, look, to be fair, Flashpoint was. Maybe I don't know enough about comics as you guys do, but Flashpoint had done all this stuff first, even before, Spider-Man had done it. Right?
It's they essentially what it is. Both Marvel and DC have tapped into multiverses forever. So none of them have really. This is the first time we've seen it on action film and whatnot, in live action. Exactly. You've seen some of it in say the Justice League cartoon, but again, that's super small scale. That's only going to be the audience that happens to watch that show. You know what I mean? Versus, I would say the first mainstream thing that we saw of this within a comic book realm would probably be Spider-Verse, unless you include that little weird message that where Batman sees the future version of himself in Dawn of Justice, or when
when sees Flash. Yeah.
If you want to include that, then maybe. But as far as in an actual movie, Spider-Verse was kind of the start. Then Crisis did that on TV this past winter. And so you're just seeing now people are finally acknowledging and letting this happen a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even outside of superhero stuff, like I said, Rick and Morty has been doing it for a long time. And I think that's why Doctor Strange to some extent had a little hint of that in the first one, and then they're gonna evolve that a lot in the second one. But yeah, Spider-Verse was probably the first movie to do it. But there's been stuff on TV. Also, Devs on FX had the multiverse stuff too.
Awesome. I'm sure we're not done talking about it. We're gonna have more streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. As I said in the beginning of the show, if you're just tuning in, this show, we're bringing the crew back full time. And someone had asked about Roxy. Roxy's going to be back on the show tomorrow. John Roque will be hosting the show tomorrow. But it is imperative to keep the show on, like the same way that we did when we launched in November. If you guys are able to, streamlabs.com/the Schmodown, donations there, whether you want to interrupt the show with a Schmobot, a super chat, whatever it is. Ben Goddard is going to be reading the rest of them starting now. Ben, we got Pepper Salt. Is that the one?
I got Marvel 317. We haven't moved in a minute. Oh no, yeah, we answered his question
Pepper
about
Salt.
a friend. Yeah, Tim Sim, Pepper Salt. I watched Shame for the first time, and it was incredible. The score was amazing, and Fassbender was robbed of an Oscar nom. I watched the Schmoes review for it, and it was hilarious. Kristian, can you guess what you rated it, and would you change it?
So, to be completely honest, I saw what I rated it. But I would have guessed 3.7, and I think the answer is 3.5. And I remember why I did, because the score is incredible. The movie is deep.
Steve McQueen.
And you talk about somebody who should never get a hold of Blue Chew. It's Michael Fassbender who kills him. Guy's knocking over potted plants half asleep. But the movie itself, the movie
Such a
itself,
specific example.
is true.
I don't know why every time Kristian just talks about people with big dicks, it's just fucking funny.
He's got a kink. He sure does.
And I'm never included in that comment.
You gotta get some Blue Chew, son. Some Blue Chew.
Bro, you just got to throw it on the table, bro. Just let them know. Like,
That's right. Why do you think I'm working from home from now on? But anyway, the movie itself is it's a deep movie. But I remember there's a scene with him and what's her face, who plays his sister in that
Carey
movie?
Mulligan.
Carey Mulligan.
Thank you. So Carey Mulligan sings a song, and as they play the whole, and it's not that she's a bad singer, she's fine, but they play the whole damn song. And it's like, I was like, if she's in concert, I'll buy a fucking ticket, but not for the movie. I mean, come on.
That's how I feel in church whenever we do all the work.
So anyway, what's next?
PLD. Has anyone heard any more about the Kevin Feige Star Wars? Seems like it's been nothing since it was first talked about.
I haven't heard anything about it at all. But that's not to say that he's not going to be involved with other projects of these other ones that have been announced, right? And maybe look, he very well could be involved with the Taika Waititi one, which would make sense. Remember that he had teased something when he talked about his movie that someone involved in Marvel, I believe, would be involved. So what would make sense if he's producing Taika's movie?
We touched on this earlier, and I didn't get to say it, but Taika Waititi in that Mandalorian Gallery series, in that behind the scenes series that we were talking about earlier. The way I love him, I have like the world's Taika Waititi is like my new true north. I love him so much.
Yes, he's a rock star. He's a rock star.
And honestly, like that. If anybody's like, who would your hall pass be? I would definitely ask for.
You have like 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
You've got a whole hard drive over there.
It's the truth. All right, what's next?
Let me see. Brian Still and Blue Iris blows Kristian with the Schmobots. Thank you. Dagan, hey all. So great.
Hey, you forgot Better Call Maul there.
Oh, I did. Better Call Maul. There's a show in Mexico and Australia called Last One Laughing.
Meow Mixing donated $20. I saw Batman Forever for the first time in '95 when I was 3. It is one of the first movies I remembering watching, and it remains my favorite movie to this day. Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones were perfect for this movie despite their relationship.
Yeah, it's funny. Despite the relationship is accurate.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, so there's a story, a famous story. I think Jim Carrey told it on the Howard Stern show, where Tommy Lee Jones is notoriously a dick, right? And he was just a dick to him. He's like, I don't find you funny. I find you to be annoying. And
yeah, like he would come up to him and say it, like just be like, I don't think we're gonna get along well at all. It's like, oh my god.
And he's notoriously like the worst. I never interviewed him during press junkets, but he's notoriously the worst. If I had a nickel for every single time that someone I knew in the space interviewed him and said it was an absolute nightmare, I would be a billionaire. Like he is number one on everyone's list. He's just a grouchy old man. Doesn't take away from the fact that he's a phenomenal actor. He's a great actor, but yeah, they did not get along, those two, at all. But nonetheless, I like Batman Forever. That Seal song, come on.
Yeah,
We didn't know.
Kiss from a Rose. You do know that is I have made this a mandatory thing. My girlfriend's last name is Rose. That is the song for our wedding.
And so I'm glad you made it nice and romantic. And Dirtbag Me says, who hasn't had sex to that song? In a
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, in a van of Queens.
Oh, Jesus.
Just kidding.
There's a show in Mexico and Australia called Last One Laughing, and it has 10 comedians locked in a room, and the last one laughing wins. If the last one to laugh.
$20. Anaconda Bread and Drunk Kate reacting to the Hamilton trailer while President Obama brags about how he saw it live.
We got it. We have to finish that. We'll do all the. We'll close the show with the impressions.
We have two more too. Another one.
If the SEN Live crew played, who would be the first person eliminated, and who would be the last person to laugh?
The last one to laugh wins. I think I would win.
What is this?
Oh, there's a show in Mexico and Australia called Last One Laughing. 10 comedians locked in a room. Last one to laugh wins. If the SEN crew played, who'd be the first person eliminated, and who'd be the first last person to laugh? It depends on the prize. Yeah. It depends on the prize because RB3 would be gone first.
I think RB3 and myself would both be gone first.
I think so. I think RB3.
I think we're very generous with our laughs.
Yeah. RB3's gone first. Goddard would probably stick around for a while. Because unless
I think if there is a joke about Bonnie taking a poop, you definitely lose.
Yeah. Especially if I told the joke. I'd probably eliminate myself.
I would literally wear the shirt and shut it down. It's fine.
That's right. No, I know who'd win. She would win. She's laughing at anything.
Roxy?
Yeah, unless you like slap the table with your head by accident. You can tell the funniest joke in the world. I don't get it.
Okay, well, you're right. Yeah. Roxy. Holy shit.
It is Roxy for sure.
Patty boy.
Wait, hold on a second. Patty boy, it's me. Patty's having trouble.
No.
Wait.
Patty boy.
What?
Me. It's Patty's having trouble.
Patty boy, it's me. Daddy. Having trouble.
Real talk. Roxy might be my kryptonite. That might be the only thing that makes me start laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand how she doesn't get that. I genuinely don't.
Me, Daddy's having trouble.
Yeah, she would win.
Me, Daddy.
It's me, Daddy.
Having trouble.
Who's next? What's next there, Ben?
PLD. Speaking of Star Wars, Laura Kelly on Chill to Action tonight. #ActionArmy. Hoping on this.
Yeah, right now the goal is to have. If you had tickets to Collision, you saw that we changed. December 6th. Right now is the tentative date for Spectacular 5, which will be at the Globe Theater. If we're allowed to, if we're able to, that's where it is right now. Just I know, fingers crossed. But that's what we're trying to hold right now, December 6th, which will be on a Sunday. But Laura Kelly, I mean, she's making a pull. She can play. She can play the game. She can play the game. She's one of the. Granted, she's on Corruption, but she's a rock star.
She can play. She's certainly trying to take after her manager with her shit talking. I mean. She's a little training on that, but I'll give her credit. She's one of the greatest players I've ever seen.
I'm also not counting out Ace though, because people did that twice in a row, and look what happens.
Please keep counting him out.
Ace is playing with house money every match. Everyone gave the match to Josh and then to Ken, and now they're already giving it to Laura.
Do it.
Yeah,
Speaking of Laura Kelly, by the way, Laura Kelly. So for those of you who even if you know the spoilers, but you didn't get a chance to watch the match, Laura Kelly versus Sean Sullivan debuts on this channel on Wednesday. If you're not watching on Twitch live every Wednesday, you should, because this Wednesday, Andrew DiMolanta plays Molly Damon live on Twitch. That's going to be a good one also. So make sure you're heading on over there. It is twitch.tv/The Schmodown. All right, Goddard, what we got?
Brian Still and Blue Iris with the Schmobots. Dagan. Hey all, so great to have the crew back full time. Looking forward to the continuing battle for first place in the Schmodown standing this week between Finstock Exchange, The Den, and Swag Drip Drip. Steak Sauce with the Schmobot, Sweaty Ben with the Schmobot, Always Sunny in Philly. SEN fam, love seeing everyone back. I can't wait to see Hamilton on Disney Plus. I've seen Hamilton twice on Broadway, flex, and once when it came to Philadelphia. It's incredible. They filmed it back in 2016, right before the original cast began departing the show.
Oh, that's cool. That's all right. Well, good. I'm excited about that because I've never seen the show and I want to see it finally.
And I was when I heard that they were doing a movie, I didn't know if they were actually going to like have sets and like actually make it like a.
Right.
I love that they just
concert. It's a concert film.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a concert film. It's great.
I love that.
But didn't they talk about doing an actual film though? And that I mean, or they are in talks. I believe it was.
Well, I know that his other one, In the Heights, is an actual film. It's an actual movie, but I don't know if they were ever talking about Hamilton doing it.
Yeah. Press making stuff up.
No, I'm gonna look up the
article. Although we say that, and he's usually right when he says shit. What's next?
It's Always Sunny in Philly. SEN fam, love seeing everyone. Oh, I just read that one. It's Always Sunny in Philly. Another one. SEN fam. My count goes green in PA this Friday, which means indoor dining and movie theaters can open at 50%.
Oh,
Philadelphia is a little behind and supposed to go green on July 3rd. We have been slower to reopen as a state, looking forward to closer theaters.
I think that they should continue to be behind. If you're watching everything going, it is going worse and worse and worse. The places that reopened early are breaking out into cases. So it's like Did you?
But you're a facts guy, Kristian. Why are you all into these facts?
We don't have to get into it, but like the simple fact that a healthcare worker and 15 of her friends, as soon as that shit opened, said, "Let's go," and then she was like, So like I don't let's chill.
I'm not going anywhere near a theater. I hope Tenet is amazing. I can't wait to see it on Blu-ray.
See it in the drive-in. That's the way you gotta watch.
One way, and the other way is I've never felt more motivated to become a millionaire, so I can just rent out a movie theater one day and go see Tenet after the fact in the theater. I
want nothing. No, thank you. I want nothing, dude. Florida had 7,500 cases in less than 48 hours. Get me the fuck out of there. I'm not nowhere near Florida. Are you kidding me? Most of my family lives there.
Brian, stay home.
Stay home.
He hasn't moved. He hasn't left this place. 7,500 fucking cases. Are you kidding me?
And that's actually, I know we don't really talk sports on this show, but that's actually they're rethinking about the NBA actually doing that at Disney World now because of how much it's exploded. They're like, how do we get you guys in and protect them?
You can't. You can't. 7,500 in 2 days. 2 days. It's insane. No, thank you. And it's a different show. All right.
Listen, I don't want to bring the mood down, but a film adaptation of the musical is in development, but likely many years off. That's at the end of the article I read.
I said I don't doubt you anymore. I really don't. All right, what's next?
Where's my mic?
Tim Sim, Brian Still, Honey Baked Hamill, with the Schmobots. All right, Brett, we get it.
No, you don't. You don't know shit.
You don't know shit. You keep challenging my opinions. Well, guess what, Goddard? You know shit.
Yo, Ben, here's the whole thing, bro. You have to understand. This is Brett's show now.
That's true.
This is a flirted flouse, bro. Like you can't
wait
show alone for 3 months.
You wait a damn minute. You're telling me that every time he opens his fucking mouth, he gets it right, and you motherfucker is still telling me to shut his trap. I get it. He says one word when you ask him. You ask the dumb motherfucker how a movie is. He says good. Of course you're gonna think every fucking answer is wrong. Does it? He's a damn genius when it comes to that. Maybe he's like one of those stupid assholes just sitting around, figuring out. Light bulb goes off his head. He says, "Oh, I got it right. Put the motherfucker on Jeopardy. Not on this show, boring ass motherfucker."
I love the original Batman song.
Jesus Christ.
All right, what does Dick Hole Jenkins have to say, Ben? Sorry to interrupt.
It's Dick Hole Johnson, sir. It's Always Sunny in Philly. R.I.P. to Joel Schumacher. I also really loved 8mm with Nick Cage from '99. Oh, and I know you mentioned it, but A Time to Kill is a good one. The Lost Boys is one of my favorite horror films of all time.
It's a great one. It really is. It's like, I like bread and butter. I like toasting bread. I love that scene. He's in the bathtub and all fucking hell breaks loose. And the creepy fucking guy at the end. I picture his face and never remember. It was like a famous character actor. He's like the ultimate like villain in the whole movie. Oh, it's really creepy. And Keith Sutherland again, really great. All right, so
it's a good villain. Always Sunny. Matt Chapman with the next two. I can't watch live, so I don't know what the vibe in the room is, but I love the Hamilton trailer. Every year on the 4th, I watch 1776, the musical, and a couple of years I added Hamilton as well. I got to see the stage show when it came to Tulsa. I'm excited that this year I get to watch a non-bootleg version. The bootleg copy of Hamilton isn't mine. I'm holding it for a friend.
Next one.
Curtis, Trash Panda, Boot Tickle, Cheryl, Dick Pants.
Trash Panda had an impression.
Oh, okay. Can we get President Obama awarding the Presidential Medal of Honor to an emotional drunk Brett for his work in the podcasting world? His proud manager, Kate Mulligan, can loudly cheer him on from the audience.
I've never been loud in my life, but I'll try.
My fellow Americans, today I bring to you a hero, a great man. I have been fortunate enough to be on many a podcast. I've been on Joe Rogan's. I've been on Pod Save America. I've been on everything. But this man right here, in all of his drunken glory, has really brought what America needs right now. I give you, Brett Sheridan, thank you so much for your work, sir. Here's the presidential.
Yeah! I just really
pull it together.
I just really should have peed before this.
Oh God! Come on, buddy. Okay. Come on. Tell the man thank you.
Thank you, President Obama. Can you come back? Please.
Sure. No, of course.
Can you come back in there?
I can't do that. I jet ski way too much for that. I don't have time. All of your bullshit. Thank you for what you've done.
Thank you, President Obama.
We got a follow up one there right afterwards. There. That's booty tickles.
Booty tickles, yo, that's the greatest name ever. Yo, I'm making a character named Booty Tickles. That's fucking fire. I'm gonna figure it out.
You better be careful. This person might be talking about somebody in their family dying of cancer or something. You can't get the name.
We got 6 minutes. We got 6 minutes to make sure
there were two other impressions. There were two other impressions we pushed.
Yeah. Here's another one. I would like this quote, indignant white man. I would like this quote in indignant white man, please. Maybe have him talk to Anaconda Brett.
Oh,
okay.
So he has to read the quote.
What quote?
No quote. He just wants me to be an indignant. What do we talk about though? What should we talk about?
Talk about Batman, Michael Keaton returning in Flashpoint with Anaconda Brett. Hold on a second. Let me get.
Wait till you see this. Wait till you see this.
I can't wait. I haven't seen it. Where's
his eyes?
I can't find Anaconda. Oh, you know what? I might get rid of. Here, I'll do this instead. All right, go ahead.
Well, you know, Michael Keaton's returning to the Batman character, and I honestly, I think there's really a lot of precautions we gotta take when you look at the sophistication of the elements of who we become to recognize as, the character and the mythology of the Batman character.
Yes, but he's the OG film Batman, man.
But we really think about the original, character creation of the Batman character. He really started with Adam West. He really did a good job of portraying the character on screen. But then the comic books did it a different way. But overall, it just takes a different thing, just all around the board. Honestly, it's just something. It's incredible when you really think about it.
Shit, man, my eyes are open now.
That was really awesome. Oh, that's good.
Yo, indignant white man, what you think about the Snyder Cut?
Say that. Plus we have 4 minutes. All right, let's get that. Was amazing. All right, next one. Thank you.
Always Sunny in Philly. I just want to give a shout out to the great David Diggs from Blind Spotting. It's a great, very underseen film. He was the original Marquis de Lafayette, Thomas Jefferson, and Hamilton, and is currently on the Snowpiercer show on TNT.
If you guys,
Thank
you
you.
guys have not seen Blind Spotting,
Oh, so good. Commentator nerd and honor Joel Schumacher. What is your favorite ice pun from Batman and Robin?
I mean, cool down, right? Isn't that it?
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Everyone, chill.
Yes,
Come
that's
on.
good.
What's next?
Josh Barnett with the Schmobot, making sure. Yeah, it's not an impression.
There was one other impression.
We're looking. We'll get it. Guys. We'll
Roberto
get it.
Suarez, regarding the Michael Keaton news, the success of Spider-Verse cannot be overlooked. That movie proved that multiverse stories can be hugely successful.
Totally agree, and I think Winston hit the nail on the head with that one before. But I agree. I think that plus the show that they did. What was it called, Winston?
Crisis.
So Crisis. I think that it's proved that people really want to see it, and especially if it's done well. And by grabbing Michael Keaton back, it's a brilliant move. All right, next.
Yeah. Marshall Weeks with the Schmobot, flipping the bean. My only worry with Flash is still just Ezra Miller. He was my least favorite aspect of Justice League, and he just seems like a problematic guy. Choking folks ain't fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the whole situation was, how that panned out. What
happened?
I don't know.
There's no news on it.
There's no news on it, and there's no what was the final verdict on it? I don't know. I'll let Warner Brothers and everybody figure that out. So yeah.
Yep. Roberto Suarez, regarding the RB3's question about Pattinson and Batman being connected, with a multiverse subplot, everything is connected. You can have both individual universes and crossovers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's. I'll never forgive Keaton for playing the wrong founder. Ray Kroc was a crock of something, all right. But when it comes to a role of Batman, I welcome him back with open arms. That said, I better not see any Batman Happy Meals or there will be hell to pay. Better Call Saul. Joel Schumacher wrote the screenplay for Sidney Lumet's The Wiz. I love that movie as a kid. Meow Mixon with the Schmobot. And then Brian's still here. It is Anaconda Brett and Drunk Kate reacting to Hamilton trailer while President Obama brags about how he saw it live.
All right, here we go. Some of this one. Yeah, you know what? We'll go back to this one. And scene.
Hey, Kate, have you seen the Anaconda trailer? Or no, not that one. Have you seen the Hamilton trailer? I know Obama's seen it. He tells me about it all the time.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I had sex with 3 people in that trailer. Can you guess which 3?
The
PA, the stagehand.
Yeah,
I am so happy for the two of you. I mean, I know that you don't have the same connections that I do. You have to watch it on Disney Plus, like all you other, plebeians. But I got to see it live. It's incredible. You're gonna enjoy the hell out of it. I saw the opening night. You're gonna love this.
I remember you. You're hot.
Thank you, everybody.
The trailer isn't a movie.
Hold on. What happens in Hooters stays in Hooters. No, don't bring that out.
I want to jump to Super Chat real quick before we end it here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Gabby Max, Ben pickled Snokes are delicious. Winston loved that shirt.
Great shirt.
Trash Panda, my bad. Did not mean emotional in the Schmobot in a mocking way. I didn't realize Brett had been going through a tough time. Tuned in late.
Oh, it's all good.
No. Brett doesn't.
Mikhail Smith, good. The Flash. Could the Flash movie also introduce Terry McGinnis and set up a Batman Beyond film with Keaton playing old Bruce? I hope so.
Well, they said that in that second report from Slash that he's tuned into. He signed up for a couple. It looks like he could be signed up for a couple. So if that's the case, it's very possible to have a Batman Beyond film.
Yeah. Movie Man 82. Despite Batman and Robin being terrible, I will forever defend Batman Forever. It's great fun and had way more character development for Bruce Wayne than either Tim Burton movies ever did.
My favorite, real quick, someone wrote, this clearly this person hadn't watched the show. Someone comes, is this a clickbait title? When did they talk about it? We've talked about this. We've talked about it for like a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. Probably tuned in late. Someone cut the guy a break.
Deontay Wimbish, my hall pass is Kate Mulligan. And Wiley Henry, also R.I.P. Ian Holm.
Yeah. We talked about that the other day when it happened to you. Sad, and we lose him. It's sad, but
it's a weird question, but like, how is it strange, like slowly losing like these celebrities, guys? Because you guys are a little bit older, not as an insult or anything like that, but now losing actors that I know, and, I'm growing up with, they're suddenly like passing away just from old age. Like, is it strange that because have you guys been doing this for a minute, just like seeing people you grow up watching in the 80s?
No, it sucks. No, it sucks. I mean, yeah, it is when as you get older, you're like you start losing people that you knew about. I was thinking about, I don't want to say, there was a particular athlete I was thinking about, and he's nowhere near being anywhere close to that. But I was like, oh man, the day that guy passes, it's going to be like really, I mean, look, shit, man, this is, and not even from old age. Look what happened. Look at when Kobe went, that's
the thing. I actually have a harder issue losing young people.
Yeah.
I think I can always, if there's an 8 in the front of the age, if there's a 9 in front of the age, I can sort of say like that was a great life. I should be so lucky. But it's like it's the Heath Ledgers, it's the
Anton Yelchin,
right, Anton Yelchin,
it's the Kobe Bryants, it's these people that I just feel like their deaths are like tragic. Those are the ones that really get me more than like icons from my childhood.
And you don't realize they're that old, actually.
No, I know.
Find out. You go like, what? He was that? Okay.
Are there any more Streamlabs, or is that it?
I'll refresh one more time, but I believe that is it. Oh, wait, one more. Matthew Dawson. So glad the crew is back and better than ever. Quick Schmodown question. What is Michael Keaton's real name? Hint, it's another famous actor's name.
Michael Douglas.
That's right. Yes, it is. It's Michael Douglas.
Oh, nice
job, Kate. All right, listen. That's the show here today. I wanted to thank. You did it already. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you to RB3 for making us happy. Thank you guys. Thank you to Kate and Winston and Ben and Brett. Whole damn crew, RB3 for putting it all together today. And remember, we have a couple matches for patrons. You're going to get an early match here today. I think you get Zipper and.
Oh, muted.
One second, y'all. 1 second. Here we go. There you go.
There we go. All right. So anyway, this week we have a bunch of different throwdown matches. Patrons. Zipper and Jacobson. Wednesday, Damon versus Tim Alonso. Thursday, it airs with Jacobson, Zipper airs on the channel. Ellison versus Oyama is on Friday, so check that out. Thank you to everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. John Ruck will be back on the show hosting. And make sure, keep those donations coming in. If you want the crew to keep on coming back, keep being part of the conversation. Helps out the show, helps us going. So thank you guys. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace out.